Coming up on tonight's UAP News Show.
Lue Elizondo has a new YouTube channel.
Eclipses, rockets, comets, and new stars. Oh my, should you be concerned?
Did we get alien pics from SETI's space signal?
I got 99 problems and 3 bodies ain't one.
And a new summertime UAP course.
Hey there, beautiful souls. It's your girl, Allie, and we're back at it again for another episode of UAP Society's UAP and UFO News Show. We've combed through this past week's most exciting, intriguing, and informative happenings, and I'm stoked to get started. So without further ado, Justin, say hey.
Greetings, cosmic enthusiasts. It's Justin here, and welcome to the UAP Society's UAP UFO News Show, your ticket to an interstellar adventure like no other. Whether you are a believer or a skeptic, get ready for a cosmic roller coaster ride through the latest updates from the far reaches of the galaxy.
You're in for a treat as we bring you the latest and greatest UAP and UFO news. So find your seats, strap in, and get ready to go on a galactic roller coaster ride with us.
And please consider subscribing if you like this content, and while you're at it, drop us a like. We greatly appreciate it.
Definitely.
Lue Elizondo has a new YouTube channel.
What?
Yeah, right? That's what... So Lue is back in the headlines this week for launching a new YouTube channel and a new website.
Yep.
While the YouTube channel doesn't have any content posted yet, his website is populated with all kinds of information, including a way to sign up for disclosure updates directly from him. And by looking at his website, you can read his bio, learn his history, explore his current projects, understand his mission statement, and view media that he's been featured in. And regarding his highly anticipated book, though, that release date is still not available, as shown here in this tweet from Lue. Again, many have speculated the release of my book in November. Please know that there is no official release date yet. Once a date has been identified, I will be the first to let you know. And thanks for your patience. So he's given an update. You know, he's once again said that there's no official release date. A lot of people speculated that all this information coming out was just a April Fool's joke.
I was just going to ask you that. I was like,
Right.
well, didn't this all stem from like an April Fool's joke?
Yeah.
But regardless, though, his YouTube channel is brand spanking new. There's not even a video up
And
there
it's
yet.
legitimate.
And it's legitimate.
Yep.
And also his website is new and that's up and running. And I signed up for those disclosure updates. I already got my little welcome to Lue's website email back for confirmation. So you guys should do the same.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious as to the type of content that he's going to be releasing. I mean, I have an idea, but, you know, I'm still waiting to see exactly what he's going to be
What's
releasing.
your idea?
Well, you know, disclosure related.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So links to his website and his YouTube channel can be found in the description box below. So make sure to check that out and subscribe and sign up for those updates so you too can stay in the disclosure know.
Yep.
Eclipses, rockets, comets, and new stars. Oh my. Should you be concerned? Are you aware of the upcoming total solar eclipse happening next week?
Yes.
Are you in one of the 3 countries that it will be visible from?
Yes.
And do you want to actively participate in the celestial event that won't happen again in North America until the year 2044?
Yes.
If the answer to any of those questions is yes, then listen up. This next story is a doozy. A tweet from NASA Citizen Science reads, "A total solar eclipse will cross North America on April 8th, and NASA needs your help collecting observations during this unusual event. Learn how you can contribute to science, develop new skills, and make friends, no matter where you'll be in April." Clicking that link will take you to a NASA article called "Contribute to NASA Research on Eclipse Day and Every Day" that says, NASA is celebrating the sun during the heliophysics big year, which extends through the end of 2024. You can get involved to help us learn more about our star and its influence on our planet. With exciting experiments happening during the total solar eclipse that will cross North America on April 8th, to widespread investigations going on throughout the year, keep reading to find a project that's right for you. What is citizen science, also called participatory science? NASA defines citizen science as a form of open collaboration in which individuals or organizations participate in the scientific process in various ways, from collecting and analyzing data to making discoveries and solving problems. Citizen here refers to citizens of planet Earth, and these projects are open to everyone, regardless of country of birth or legal citizenship status.
The next image we are showing you details some of those NASA citizen science projects related to the April 8th eclipse. As you can see from this table, there are 3 different quick start projects that require only a few minutes to complete, are considered an easy task, and that don't require any special equipment. If you are interested in participating in any of these projects, the link to this website, along with all other sources featured in this show, can be found in the description box below. Please let us know in the comment section which project you choose and why, or if you'll just be watching the event for the fun of it and plan on taking any pictures. Make sure to post those on the UAP Society Discord server for the whole community to enjoy. To find out more information about this astrological event, let's take a look at a quick CNN clip now.
A total solar eclipse. It happens when the moon passes between the Earth and the sun, completely blocking out the light. On April 8th, more than 32 million people across Mexico, the United States, and Canada could see the sun completely darkened by the moon's shadow, and that moment of total darkness could last more than 4 minutes in some places. It's also going to be the last one for quite some time. A total solar eclipse won't happen again in the United States for about another 20 years. Location is key. The total eclipse is only visible inside a very narrow track known as the path of totality. It stretches more than 10 U.S. states from Texas through Maine, and the timing changes depending on where you are within that path. People outside that narrow band will still be able to see a partial solar eclipse. That's when the moon only blocks part of the sun's face. That should be visible in all 48 contiguous U.S. states. Now, if you're planning on peeking at a total or partial eclipse, remember to get you some certified eclipse glasses. Regular sunglasses, not strong enough to protect your eyes. Otherwise, severe eye damage can occur. A solar retina burn can permanently injure your eyes, and you might not even feel it until it's too late.
And if you'd like to get a pair of 2024 NASA-recommended solar eclipse glasses of your own, we've included an Amazon link in the description box to these bad boys, so make sure to check that out. Now, if you're into astrology like I am and wondering how this event could play out in your personal life, then I've got something sweet to show you. An article called The Astrology of the April 8th, 2024 Eclipse from CaliforniaPsychics.com says, Venus, the planet of love, along with the sun and moon, helps usher in incredibly positive energies during this eclipse. The April 8th solar eclipse will occur at 19 degrees and 24 minutes of Aries, conjuncting Chiron in Aries as well. Aries is a sign of fresh starts, leadership, innovation, and courage. As such, you can expect this total solar eclipse to have a particularly strong impact on those areas of your personal life. This new moon solar eclipse will bring positive personal development for most people. The new moon is a great time to set intentions and manifest for the future, while eclipses are powerful bringers of change. When they come together to form a total solar eclipse, they can kick off a beneficial transformation process that will grant you a fresh start. With Chiron in action, this eclipse is also about healing your relationship with yourself. Now is the time to recover from old wounds and explore new possibilities. Luckily, the April 8th eclipse should have an empowering effect in this regard. You could feel like you can take charge of your life in ways you didn't previously think possible. So happy intention setting, and may your manifestations materialize faster than you can comprehend.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I like manifesting.
Yep. And if you're using the celestial energies to aid in that as like a catalyst or like, you know, like a bottle of NOS in a NASCAR vehicle, then hey, go for it.
Yeah. If you are unable to get your hands on a pair of those solar glasses, you could also construct a box, right? All you need is just an enclosed box. And what you do is you poke a hole in it and cut out a little hole to look into the box, and you will see the eclipse. Like, you'll see the shadow of the sun in the box, and as the moon starts covering the sun, you can see a perfect little outline of the eclipse.
We're gonna have to edit in like a picture of this so they can see what we're talking about.
Yeah, you know, I mean, a lot of teachers teach kids how to do this in school, so I mean, probably most of the people watching probably know how to do this already, but
oh my god, you just reminded me of the time I did that with my kids. I totally forgot.
Did you?
Yeah, I had to order these little brown boxes, and I think we even used like foil or something, and like all the kids went outside, and I had to reiterate to them like 1,000 times before we went outside, do not look at the sun unless you're looking through the box.
Right.
They're like, Miss Allie, I know.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a fun little project to do with your kids, you know, if you want to teach them something that, you know, is pretty neat.
Yep, that's cool. DIYs are always fun. Or if you want to do Amazon next day delivery, you could just get the ones that NASA recommends.
Right. And also, look at the shadow, right? If you look at a shadow of a tree during the eclipse, you will actually see little crescents.
Oh,
you know,
I remember
those are pretty cool pictures too.
When Leslie posted a picture of that last time, and yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
So that's
cool.
pretty
You're
neat, too.
unlocking like all these memories I totally forgot about until just now.
Right. And I mean, most of our viewers are probably feeling the same way.
Yeah.
Anyway, these are pretty cool things to consider. There's also other things going on and worth mentioning around this date and event.
Quite a few, actually.
So Robbie Starbuck on X points out quite a few interesting things all happening at the same time that are most definitely noteworthy. And he says, in case you missed it, solar eclipse on April 8th. NASA is firing 3 rockets at it, although it's not actually at it. It's just into the atmosphere. A devil comet will be visible during the eclipse. They're turning on CERN for the first time since 2022, the same day. And a celestial explosion will briefly create new stars in the sky. A crazy week. He threw a lot of info at us all at once there. So let's unpack it together and learn the synchronistic ways that it's all significant.
The Forbes article called Why NASA Will Fire 3 Rockets at the Solar Eclipse says, NASA has announced it will fire 3 scientific-sounding rockets into the moon's shadow on Monday, April 8th, during a partial solar eclipse across North America. In what will be a total solar eclipse for a 115 miles wide path through parts of Mexico, 15 U.S. states and Canada, and a partial solar eclipse for the entire Americas, the event will see a sudden drop in sunlight. Serpent Deity, the space agency's project, Atmospheric Perturbations Around the Eclipse Path, will investigate how that drop in sunlight and temperature affects Earth's upper atmosphere. APEP, or APEP, is named after the serpent deity from ancient Egyptian mythology, nemesis of the sun deity Ra, according to NASA. Keep that Egyptian snake piece in your mind because we're going to circle back around to that later on in this story.
In an article from digitaltrends.com called The Devil Comet Will Be Visible During the Solar Eclipse in April, says this April is going to be an exciting time for skywatchers. Not only is there a rare total solar eclipse to look forward to, but there's also the chance to view the dramatically named Devil Comet. Comet 12P Pons Brooks visits the inner solar system just once every 71 years, making it a once-in-a-lifetime viewing event for most of us. It will make its closest approach to Earth in June, but it will be at its brightest and easiest to spot when it makes its closest approach to the sun on April 21st. It should be visible anytime from now through early April, and your best chance of viewing it is from a location with clear, dark skies. That does coincide with the date of the solar eclipse on April 8th, but it'll be difficult to pick out the comet during the eclipse itself. Instead, you'll be best off doing a cosmic doubleheader by enjoying the eclipse during the day and going comet hunting that night.
Super interesting.
Yeah, maybe we should bust out the telescope.
Ooh.
Yeah, try to get some pictures of it ourselves.
That would be cool. We're not in the path of totality, but we could at least enjoy a partial eclipse.
Yeah, well, I have a solar filter for my telescope, so we can look at the sun. And then later on that night, we can go comet hunting. That'd be fun.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Next in line, the Daily Mail's article called CERN to test the world's most powerful particle accelerator during April's solar eclipse to search for invisible matter that secretly powers our universe informs us that the world's largest and most powerful particle accelerator is set to smash protons together on April 8th to search for invisible particles secretly powering our universe. Theories have suggested that there are 17 different particle groups, and the European Organization for Nuclear Research, better known as CERN, confirmed the existence of one using its Large Hadron Collider LHC in 2012. Now, the team has restarted the LHC with hopes of unraveling more mysteries of the universe, specifically dark matter. Sounds good, right? Well, if you're wondering why you should be concerned about CERN, let's take a look at this. A tweet from Jay Anderson with Project Unity says this: Scientist claims CERN has a secret program. Quote, there are beings from portals coming in and out, end quote. That was said by Dr. Astrid Stuckelberger, honorary professor, Russian Academy of Medical Science, UN representative on psychological study of social issues, co-founder and president of IPSE. Let's take a look at that embedded video now.
Actually, CERN is dealing with radionuclear research, But it is more than that, because there are lots of physicians. I know some. They're doing very strange experimentation. There are beings from portals coming in and out. It's physicists from the CERN who told me this.
They've testified to beings coming in and out of portals.
Yes, they have apparently in the bottom of the CERN this portal, this door where they are dealing with all the subatomic dimensions. They say there are 17 different dimensions of reality. That's what those physicists say. Some others say there are more dimensions, And now, when you look at what is going on in the CERN, there is a fight from some of the military agencies, intel. They say that there is a fight on time. They're trying to change time.
Trying to change time. Opening portals to talk to interdimensional beings.
Those are pretty big statements.
Right?
Yeah.
And as if that wasn't enough to ponder upon, this next tweet from Brother Berg ties in that Egyptian snake connection I told you to keep on your mind earlier. He says, the Large Hadron Collider is restarting during the solar eclipse, 6 years, 6 months, 6 weeks, and 6 days after the last Great American Eclipse, while NASA is firing 3 rockets into the moon's shadow at 3:33 p.m. As you do. The rocket project is named APEP after the Egyptian demon of chaos who took the form of a serpent on his mission to devour the sun and plunge the world into permanent darkness. Consider this in the mystical context of solar eclipses as moments when the natural order is suspended and the veils are thinned, creating a liminal space for magical workings. This rare alignment is a cosmic gateway offering a potent opportunity for transformative processes, whether for renewal, destruction, or revelation. How appropriate, then, that CERN is associated with Shiva, the Hindu god of destruction and transformation. Indeed, it certainly seems that dark wizards are attempting to pull off a ceremonial magic working of epic proportions, harnessing the power of the eclipse for a specific ritual. Perhaps manipulating these energies to open portals, alter reality, or contact other dimensions or entities, maybe even all of the above.
What?
And if your head isn't spinning or your mind isn't blown yet, to add more spice to this mix, let's take a look at that last article in Robbie's tweet.
According to the debrief.com article called NASA says T Coronae Borealis Nova set to create a new star in a once-in-a-lifetime event. In the coming months, the world is set to witness an extraordinary celestial event as a massive explosion in the T Coronae Borealis star system is poised to create a new star in the night sky. This rare astronomical event, expected to occur between now and September 2024, is not the birth of a star, but rather an extraordinary nova outburst from T Coronae Borealis, TCRB, situated 3,000 light years away in the constellation of Corona Borealis. NASA described the anticipated novae outburst as a once-in-a-lifetime viewing opportunity, as T Corona Borealis is predicted to become as bright as the North Star, Polaris.
Whoa.
Yeah, right. That'd be cool.
I know.
Right. T Coronae Borealis, also known as the Blaze Star, is a binary star system comprising a white dwarf and a red giant star. Due to the star's proximity at certain times in their orbital periods, the system experiences a nova explosion approximately every 80 years. As the companion stars orbit close to each other, the red giant, which is in a later stage of its life, begins to shed its outer layers. The white dwarf, a dense remnant of a star that has exhausted its nuclear fuel, captures this material through its gravitational pull. This violent celestial dance between the cosmic duo eventually triggers a runaway thermonuclear reaction on the surface of the white dwarf, leading to a dramatic novae outburst. Boom. Literally.
Like literally.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just went over a lot of information, so let's review. On April 8th, there will be a total solar eclipse spanning 3 countries. We know the astrological significance of this event and how it can affect us on a personal level. NASA is not only offering projects for you to participate in, but they are also sending 3 rockets into space during the eclipse to collect atmospheric data. You might be able to see the Devil's Comet that same night. CERN is firing up the LHC during this event to study dark matter, or to open up their portals and speak to interdimensional beings, you decide. And we have the potential for a new star to pop up. Plus, we have all of those synchronicities with the angel numbers and the meaning behind the names of the projects and the timing of everything to consider. It's just a lot.
Yeah.
There were 17 particle groups, 17 different dimensions, And the Devil's Comet comes once every 71 years.
Mm.
So many synchronistic angel numbers, right? But I'm not done yet there. Hold on. The eclipse is moving over 3 countries. NASA is sending 3 rockets into space at 3:33 p.m. And the Netflix series we're going to cover later in the show is called 3-Body Problem.
Yeah.
One more for you. The LHC is restarting during the solar eclipse 6 years, 6 months, 6 weeks, and 6 days after the last great American eclipse.
Wow. That's that's crazy.
And I haven't even had any coffee in a while. So like this is just like things that are that stood out to me. These are things that stood out to me. There's a lot of things going on. So many meetings of these different things. Like there's always like a meaning behind a name or a logo or like a symbol, you know, like
it's just mind-blowing if you look at some of those mission patches, you know, and you can see like pyramids on them or
like a UFO
or like an all-seeing eye.
Right.
You know, I mean, what's the significance behind that? You know, that's crazy.
I know. I'm just seeing so many different interesting things in that whole story. I mean, I just rattled off literally a whole list of the things that I thought were like interesting and noteworthy.
Yeah.
I hope that you guys caught some more that I might have even missed. If you did, let us know. Drop a comment down below.
Yeah, you know, and then the significance of all the numbers, you know, like the repeating 3s,
the ones in the sevens.
repeating 6s, right? The ones in the 7s. I mean, it's so crazy how when you know you start to see numbers all the time, you know, it's mind-blowing.
This is like reminiscent to the idea that like once you start on your spiritual awakening journey, once you start going down this path and looking into these kind of things, it's like all of a sudden you get all these signs and things that are popping up at specific times, and it's just like confirmation from the other side for me anyway, personally.
Even if you're not going on a spiritual awakening journey,
that's
I mean,
true too.
All right, take Elon Musk, you know, as a example.
How? Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
Right. He is constantly being bombarded by the numbers 420
and 69.
And 69.
I know.
You know, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, the first launch of Starship was on 420.
Okay.
You know,
wasn't there also like you're talking about the date 420, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't there other ones that launched at 420 the time?
Well, I don't know about Starship specifically, but
okay.
Yeah, but no, I mean, look into it, right? Look into Elon Musk and his association with 69, 69, and 420.
Okay.
And I mean, it's odd.
Yeah.
You know, it's strange. You know, why does that happen?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Anyway.
I don't know. But all I know is that on Monday, we this is another time where we should be, you know, outside with the telescope looking up.
Okay. Bet.
All right.
Did we get an alien pics from SETI's space signal?
Apparently.
As if that wasn't enough, did we get an alien pics through a signal from another planet? According to Tom Thompson, who's Cortex0 on Twitter, rumor has it that the European SETI has identified potential signals of non-terrestrial technological origin, among which at least one appears to carry data containing images. What? Wow.
We have liftoff.
Consequently, there seems to be a substantial financial commitment amounting to billions of dollars aimed at establishing an extensive array of radio telescopes across Europe. Such significant investment is often indicative of a compelling justification.
Back in November of last year, a Space.com article called SETI Institute gets $200 million to seek out evidence of alien life let us know just how much they have to work with, and also said that for a number of decades, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence Institute, or SETI, has been combing the stars for signs of a technologically advanced civilization lurking in their midst. And although no such signs have materialized so far, it's worth considering that we have only been looking at a small speck of the cosmos and for a fleeting amount of time. Thus, a new philanthropic gift for the SETI Institute to the tune of $200 million will ensure SETI's Institute's efforts will continue long into the future, giving astronomers the best chance of answering one of the most intriguing scientific and philosophical questions our species grapples with. Are we alone? The large sum was donated by the estate of the late tech entrepreneur and co-founder of Qualcomm, Franklin Antonio. Antonio spent 12 years working with SETI before he passed away on May 13th, 2022. To learn more about this subject, let's hear from Professor Simon Holland in this next clip to see what he has to say.
That SETI at home, a piece of software which you probably ran on your computer as a screensaver, actually found 18 extraterrestrial technological signals, probably back in the early 2000s. You'd imagine American scientists and governments would know all about this. So any government proving ET exists, maybe even communicating with them or getting some information from them, would be light years ahead of their competitors. So in a modern space race, talking to ET first would be very desirable. Why aren't the Americans doing it? Very interesting question. I keep on hearing the same answer. Science in America is very open-minded. Scientists in radio telescopes like Green Bank and all the other big facilities in the United States would love to be doing this, but they get funded by rather strange people in US government. And this goes back to the UFO UAP story. I keep hearing the upper echelon Pentagon and government funders and lobby groups are rather fundamentally Christian, much more than Europe is. And they worry that UFOs, UAP, and aliens are devils and angels. A very small number of very important people in the United States, not probably the scientists, are actually stopping research into UAP, UFO, and searching for aliens because they worry it would undermine their fundamental religion. But just look at this. This is a list of the organizations, the countries, the big business, and the money involved in EU doing a major project. It could be just the EU spending money. They like big science, like CERN and ITER, the fusion project. So on your behalf, I asked the obvious question. What have they found? And this is the intriguing piece of information that I can share with you to close this film. They found modulation. They found a signal. Now, first of all, they found a planet buzzing with RF energy. Imagine you had a transistor radio on the moon and you were listening to the Earth. There would be thousands of radio stations and TV and military and Wi-Fi and phone networks. It would be very difficult to resolve anything. All that you would know is that the Earth is very technologically based. But actually hearing an individual signal, even Radio Luxembourg, would be very hard from, say, the moon with a radio. But using this wide field global network funded by the EU, my source tells me they've resolved some signals. He's telling me that they found discernible, unique information encoded in the global ET signal. What is it, says I? Decoding what they have found is a big part of this project.
Wait for it.
What he was prepared to say is their pictures, their data. What exactly alien ET pictures would look like is really fascinating. I hope what I've told you today is enough to convince you that massive funding is being spent on a mega project, a global EU-run telescope network. Why are they doing it? And when will they reveal what they found? The truth is out there.
Wow.
Yeah. Alien pictures, you guys. Did you hear that? Like,
mind blown.
Alien pictures retrieved from a signal from some other place.
I hope that ends up being true. You know, I mean, that would be amazing. And you know, who's his source? You know, that's what I want to know.
I know, right?
You know, I mean,
when are we going to see these pictures or get a hold of this data? Are they going to like hoard it? Are they going to release it? Are they giving it to the government, who's then going to classify it as threat to national security? I mean, you know, then it'll never see the light of day. But I don't know.
I hope it ends up being true. You know, obviously, you know, I would like for more people to come forward that are in the know on this. You know, but if this is true and it turns out to be real, then that's I mean, that's it. You know, that's significant.
I could see like the coming off your head.
You know.
Also, something else that is worth considering. He mentions how the U.S. government's interpretations of aliens as like angels and devils, due to their fundamentally Christian perspective, is what's keeping the United States from being a part of the ET signal space race. He also mentions how the EU likes to work with CERN, which we mentioned in the last story. Also new this week, To the Stars YouTube channel released part 2 of a conversation between Blink-182's Tom DeLonge and host Jim Semivan about the phenomena, science, religion, and consciousness that touches on that same notion of how the phenomena presents itself throughout history and how people experiencing it then interpret it and explain it to others. Let's check that out next.
And so what I've always wondered about the UFO or UAP phenomenon, and as well as all the paranormal events that have gone back through a very long period of time, it seems to be very reflective of the person's belief systems and the nature of their existence at the time. Now, if you're looking at just hardware, you have these, you have airship mystery in the late 1800s that look kind of steampunk, it's like kind of like a big traveling pirate ship in the sky or something. That's all we could envision at the time for modes of transport. But then later on, you have things that are flying in the 30s and 40s that look a little bit more like flying wings. It's always just like a little bit outside of our technological path that we're in. It's almost like it's showing us something or crashes something and then like gives us like kind of an engineering North Star, maybe. I always thought that was weird. Versus a lot of UFOs now, because we have flying wings like the B-2 bomber and whatever. It's like now when we see a UFO, it's more of an orb of light and it stretches and bends and moves or whatever. It's always like a little bit further than what we're able to engineer. But when you also look at entities themselves, you have things like trolls, leprechauns, fairies, you have angels and demons, you have the Greek gods, or you have the angels of the Bible or whatever. But depending on like where you're at in as far as geography goes, it'll show you something that is more along like your Celtic belief systems or your pagan belief systems or your Christian or Greek mythology belief systems. And I think that's one of the things that Keel was really figuring out was like people are seeing like a winged creature on a bridge, or they're having an alien event like in their own bedroom, or they're seeing a craft in the sky. But it's all of those things, no matter how different they are doing the same thing to the individual, which made him kind of find more of the patterns of how they're all connected rather than disparate between one another. And I think him and Jacques Vallée were very much like, wait, look at the absurdity of all this stuff. Yeah, right. Because it looks like it's all doing the same thing. And that's really where I was always like focusing my attention was like, what are the commonalities and the patterns within all these things? Because you can start to think they're all totally different, but sometimes they're kind of doing the same exact thing. I mean, so I think that's where we should be looking. Because if there is like a big, malleable kind of frequency that we live in, or maybe there's a big machine that's pointing some type of energy at our system and it clues into what we think and can show us back what we think. I mean, Colin Kelleher on the ATIP program wrote about the mimicry program stuff that they were noticing with UFOs. The UFOs would show up and change shape and look like an F-18 and then look like something else. It was almost like, or a helicopter. It's like it was changing what it looked like based on what we were doing or just to confuse us, So is everything a hologram? Is everything we see that leads us down a path, reflective of what we're thinking? Well, I think John Keel started noticing that. So I'm actually, I've been thinking this for a long time because a lot of the ancient texts talk about this. And then some of the stuff in the UAP kind of category talks about this, the idea of free will. If you go back to the double slit experiment, where they're basically everything is a wave until a human brain can think of something and then it becomes a particle. It's like they're figuring out that matter is literally like we are a transducer. So your entire body is transducing some type of source wave into physical matter.
A lot of UAP researchers think, including Vallée, that these non-human intelligences may be intelligent beings from space who have been watching our planet for thousands of years and who have intervened in human history more than once. Other researchers like Keel think that they are mostly poltergeists, and he quotes and he said, simply the juvenile delinquents and time wasters of the spirit world. I'm torn between this. I'm not quite sure which one. What do you think?
So, the whole light being turned into matter thing, that directly goes back to one of Chris Lato's latest videos, where he hypothesizes that, matter is just light,
condensed down
right? Into, right. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
Yep. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Pretty neat to think about it, Yeah.
And I feel like there was a lot of other synchronicities that were mentioned in that video that tied into things that we mentioned already. Like they also talked about, like how things present themselves according to your viewpoint. Something else that came to my mind while we were listening to Tom talk was it was reminiscent of the conversation that we had with Steve Mera, where he was also saying that there's like a
Yeah.
trickster element to the phenomenon and how you can't really like know what to expect because it's constantly like 10 steps ahead of you. Then I also went on to a different thought pattern where I was thinking about Carl Crusher and Skinwalker Ranch and Jim Segala and his MUPAS device that they're
And Mount
implementing
Wilson
now.
Ranch. Yep.
Mount Wilson Ranch, excuse me, where they're like studying different changes in the atmosphere, tying it to when phenomenon appears or presents itself or manifests, whatever word you want to put in there to describe it. So yeah, just yeah.
It's this whole topic, you know, is so appealing to me. You know, I mean, coming from a scientific viewpoint, coming at it from a philosophical viewpoint, you know, I mean,
Historical viewpoint,
historical viewpoint, you know,
Yeah.
are we alone?
I
Are we
think
not
every
alone?
person on
know?
this planet should be asking themselves,
Right.
if not asking, discussing that question.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I mean, if we're not alone, are they here? Or have they been here for a long time? You know?
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of circumstantial evidence that says yes, you know, but you know, I really am waiting for that hard scientific proof, you know?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I hope we see it in our lifetime.
Yeah. I think we will. I think
Yeah.
for sure. And finding patterns of how all of these things are connected and how the synchronicities present themselves. That's one of my favorite aspects of studying this phenomenon is because it's constantly tying into 10 other things and then bringing up like 30 more questions. So it's like every time you seek out an answer, you're probably going to find it, but what you're going to find more of is more questions that get thought of because new information is presented that makes you question more things you thought you knew, and it's just like a peeling back the layers of an onion. It's like a discovery process almost.
Right.
And I don't know if you guys noticed, but on Professor Simon's shirt, he had the picture of that satellite, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
that's a radio telescope.
Keep that image in your mind, because since we're talking about signals from space and communicating with ETs, let's roll into our next story. I got 99 problems and 3 bodies ain't one. Hit me. On March 21st, Netflix released a new series called 3 Body Problem that's got everyone talking. Now, normally you guys know that we'd show you the official trailer, but apparently Netflix and the YouTube algorithm don't get along in terms of like monetization and copyright claims, blah, 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 blah. So unfortunately, we won't be able to show that trailer to you this week, but in its place, we have our friend Patrick from Vetted giving us a rundown of the show's plot and its appeal to the UAP community. Let's look.
But anyway, here it is, Netflix's 3 Body Problem from the creators of Game of Thrones. It's already out on Netflix. It's originally based on some books, and then they made it into a television show as well, kind of low budget, years ago, and now Netflix is taking control. So basically the story goes is that aliens make contact with Earth, right? And one person on Earth has a decision to make, whether or not to respond to them, because in their message they say, if you respond to us, we're coming there. So do not respond, right? Do not send us a reply message or we will come. What happens? This one person decides, hits the button and sends the message, and now aliens are on their way, right? And what does the 3 body problem mean? Basically, the aliens' home planet and their system, they have 3 bodies, 3 planetary, bodies floating around, gravitational pull, whatever. It's complete chaos. So they can't really survive. Their species keeps getting sort of wiped out. They have to rebuild over and over, and it's a cycle. So they basically want a way out of that. Right? How do they want to solve that system, solve that problem? How can they exist on that planet? So they invite the help of humans by creating this sort of like VR game. You put on this cool helmet and the humans get involved. They don't know what they're doing, but they essentially get them to try to help them solve this problem. And when that's not working out, they realize this isn't going to work out. The aliens are like, we're coming to Earth, but it's going to take 400 years to get there. Right? And so what is their plan? This is genius, in my opinion. I mean, for the aliens anyway, not for humans. But their idea is, okay, we're coming in 400 years, but in 400 years, humans will have evolved and be more advanced than us by the time we get there. So we need another plan. So their plan is to then, because I guess they have these capabilities, their plan is to infiltrate earthly science, right? Scientists that and kind of mess with them mentally and stump scientific progress. Right. And that will inevitably help them not advance as much and then, right, be formidable foes for the aliens when they show up, right? So humans would be less guarded, have less technology, right? Wouldn't have advanced as far. It's kind of a genius idea, if you ask me. And so you have the entire alien fleet coming towards Earth, and Earthlings immediately panic, right? And they start, in the show anyway, right? The entire planet just starts panicking like crazy. They create this sort of like, I forget what it's called, like off-planet mission objective. I don't know what it is. But basically, you know, they start putting together plans to fight the aliens now, right? Setting up whatever plans they can for the future. So, I mean, you got aliens, UFOs attacking Earth in a unique way, how it sort of time jumps around and, you know, what's happening, the way the aliens can communicate with humans, the relationship, because there's some humans that join the fight of the aliens. They want to help the aliens. Ultimate traitors, imagine. But even they get dismissed by the aliens. We become bugs because they can't understand the concept of lying, of a fairy tale, even just a fairy tale, a fictionalized story. They can't understand that concept, so they just assume, okay, all aliens can't tell or all humans can't tell the truth, therefore you're all bugs. Like, we will eradicate you. And that's interesting, you know? And honestly, that part of the story is something that's talked about in the UFO community already, right? The idea that we would be bugs. So again, just from someone who's in this all the time, UFOs and aliens and whatever, this is a good show. This is a good show. Well worth watching. You don't need to know anything about previous events or any sort of UFO lore or alien lore to enjoy this, right? So it's a pretty simple concept. And the aliens make themselves look like humans because they tell them, hey, you wouldn't recognize us if we showed you what we really look like. Not recognize, but you wouldn't like it.
We don't look anything like this. This is all for your benefit.
What do you really look like?
You wouldn't like it.
Yeah, so that was a good show. We binged it last weekend.
We binged it over the weekend. Yep. I think over a course of 2 days we were done, and we were looking around like, damn, man, I want more.
Yeah,
like,
right.
And what's funny is like the whole time we were watching it, I was tripping out because I'm like, oh my God, that dude was in Game of Thrones. That dude was in Game of Thrones. That girl was in Game of I was like picking out all these characters.
Yeah.
And I didn't find out till I watched Patrick's video after we watched the entire season that the people that made Game of Thrones made this show. So I was like, oh, well, no freaking wonder why, you know? But anyways, I was like, this is like a Game of Thrones cast reunion up in this thing. What's happening here? I was I appreciated it though.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan.
It's definitely a good show, you know. And,
yes, and there's so many different little spoilers and Easter egg things in there. Like if we watched it again, I'm sure we would pick up on things now that we missed the first time.
Right. Yeah. And you know, I tried looking it up, but there's no information yet on season two.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm eagerly waiting. You know, I guess I could read the book if I want to find out, but
yeah, right.
Yeah, I'd rather watch the show.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm already hooked on the show, and I hope that 17-second clip that we showed at the end there doesn't get this video flagged. But I thought it was super relevant to that last point that Patrick was making about the bugs. So if you don't end up seeing that little 17-second clip in the final edit of this video, it's because we had to cut it out.
Yeah. And one final point about that show that sticks out in my mind is it kind of goes along with some other theories that people are saying, you know, we might live in a simulation.
You know? I mean, seriously, because when you watch the show and they put on that headset and they're in that like VR world that's supposedly like a game, I mean, it's real. They could smell things. They pick up some sand in their hand and they feel it. One guy even puts some on his tongue so he could taste it, and like they can't tell that reality apart. Indistinguishable, right? They can't tell that reality apart from the one that they just came in or came from, I should say. And I don't know, it's just it really gives you that kind of like Matrix questiony kind of vibe, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know.
There was a lot of heavy concepts in that show. I was sitting there watching it and I had to keep rewinding because I got lost in like mental trails of thinking about things from what they had just talked about. And like I said, there's a lot in there. Totally worth watching it. Highly recommend. Make some popcorn, get cozy on the couch, and binge it.
Yep. So those of you that are interested in simulation theory, I highly recommend you check out Donald Hoffman.
Okay.
He's a cognitive psychologist who is one of the leading proponents of simulation theory.
All right.
Yep. Anyway, it's really interesting and fascinating, and it will definitely make you think.
Okay. Bet. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but the logo on that 3-body problem poster that Patrick was showing had that same kind of satellite that Professor Simon Holland had on his shirt in the last video. I just want to point that out, make sure you guys notice that. I find it super funny that all within the same week, we have people talking about us receiving space signals containing data and pictures captured by SETI. And then there's this Netflix show whose storyline revolves around sending signals to space to communicate with ETs and the repercussions of that. There's just so many ways to approach pondering all of this.
Yeah, it goes back to what we said a few minutes ago about synchronicities, you know.
Here they are again. Exactly. I mean, if we had a tally for every synchronicity that we've noticed or mentioned in the show so far, it would be like off the charts.
Yeah, right.
But the link to that official trailer to that show is in the video description box below. So if you want to check that out, make sure to give that a look-see. Or if you want to just log into your Netflix account and binge the whole series, I recommend doing that as well.
Yep.
Okay.
And then our final story for the evening is there's a new summertime UAP course.
Mm-hmm.
If watching shows and movies about UAPs and aliens isn't enough for you and you're craving a more hands-on approach, then our last story for the evening is right up your alley. On March 26, 2024, Maya C., who is a PhD candidate in anthropology at Binghamton University and whose research focuses on the scientific study of UAP and the emergence of UAP studies as an academic discipline, tweeted, "Hello all 15 of my followers. For those of you who don't know me, I'm an anthropologist studying UAP, and I'm super excited to be teaching a course for the Society for UAP Studies this June. Please consider registering, or at least resharing for your other followers on UFO Twitter."
Looking at the Society for UAP Studies webpage, it says Anthropology and UAP, Questions of Humanity, Culture, and the Unknown. Below, interested students and members of the Society can learn about this online course offering in anthropology taught by Maya Cohen, a PhD student at SUNY Binghamton. Course description. This 8-week course explores the ways in which the UAP conversation is informed by the culture and history of both the topic itself and the people who are engaging with it. Anthropology and UAP challenges students to explore not just what UAP are and what they can do, but the ways in which people discuss, conceptualize, and know the phenomenon. It appears that the phenomena encompassed in the acronym UAP, or UFOs, USOs, ghosts, spirits, visitors, extraterrestrials, Foo Fighters, fairies, angels, etc., have been with humankind from the very start.
Don't forget interdimensionals.
Might as well throw that in there too.
Right?
The meaning assigned to the phenomena, however, is far from universal. In some cultural contexts, this meaning is an open question fraught with worry, secrecy, and even alarm, while in other contexts, the meaning is totally settled. This course explores the cultural dimensions of UAP. This includes indigenous knowledge of what we call UAP, including how the discussion around UAP and space exploration can mirror the ideals of settler colonialism. We will also discuss the emerging academic study of UAP and how our fascination with the unknown can push science forward. We will also talk about the politics of knowledge creation and explore what UAP means for the future of humanity. The course consists of weekly readings and seminar discussions. Synchronous classes will be held each week, using the readings as a framing for the course discussion. Readings for this course are based in the subfield of sociocultural anthropology. So basically, for about $60, you could take that course and study UAPs yourself this summer.
It seems interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially for people that want to get a more hands-on approach.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys noticed, but when she was mentioning how the phenomena presents itself to different cultures and how it's been seen all throughout human history, that was ringing Tom DeLonge bells for me because he was saying the same exact thing earlier. And I just find that to be another synchronicity.
Yeah.
I also wonder if any of our audience is taking that other course from the Italian researcher, Dr. Massimo Teodorani, who we covered a few shows ago, because that's still going on as of right now. So if you are, drop us a comment down below and share something significant that you've learned so far.
Yeah, that would be amazing to hear from somebody that's actually, doing that. That would be awesome. Yeah.
I know somebody that wants to sign up for this course that we just mentioned, but I don't know anybody that signed up for the one we mentioned like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, not yet. But if you are interested, drop us a comment down below or join Discord and come chat with us.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that concludes this week's UAP Society's weekly UAP and UFO news show. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, and while you're here, do us a favor, smash that like button, click subscribe, ring our little notification bell, drop us a lovely comment down below, and share this video with your family and friends to help us spread the good word. Let's raise the collective consciousness together in unity. All right. Much love, peace, and namaste.
I cannot give you back your homes or restore your dead to life, but perhaps I can give you justice in the name of our King.